Hello, beautiful people. God speaks through dreams. Many people have had experiences of God speaking to them through their dreams, and they usually don't remember the dream until the moment that they wake up. And when they wake up, they feel like something has happened. They can't quite put their finger on it, but there's this sense of peace. Sometimes it's excitement. Sometimes it's joy. Sometimes it's just knowing that all is well. I remember the first time that I heard God speak to me through a dream was in my bedroom. I was an atheist at the time, and I was wrestling with the idea of whether or not God even existed. And I remember this dream that I had very vividly. I was outside and I was looking up at the sky, and the clouds were parting and the sun was shining through. And I remember thinking, that's not a coincidence. That's not a coincidence that the sun is shining through right now. I remember thinking that in the dream, not in this dream, but in the dream I was having. There was this overwhelming sense of peace that came over me, and it said, "Who do you think you are?" And I remember waking up in my bed, and the covers were off of me, and I was sitting straight up in bed. And it woke my wife up because I was making so much noise. She was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just had this overwhelming sense." And I told her about the dream, and we just started to laugh because it was so silly. And then, of course, years later, after I became a believer, I went back to that dream, and I realized what had actually happened. I had encountered God. And many people have these kinds of encounters where God speaks to them through dreams. And they usually don't remember the dream until the moment that they wake up. So if you've never had an experience like that, here are some tips on how to actually receive dreams from God. No one. You have to believe that God can speak through dreams. If you don't believe that, then you're not God. Nah. Be open to the idea that God might actually be trying to communicate with you in this way. So you have to believe that it's possible. The second thing is you have to ask God to speak to you through dreams. You have to actually ask Him because He's not going to force Himself upon you. And then you have to be still and quiet before you go to sleep. You have to clear your mind of all the things that have happened during the day, and you have to focus on the fact that God is the one who's speaking. You have to listen for His voice. So if you've never had an experience of God speaking to you through a dream, try these steps out and see if it works for you. And if it does, let me know what you hear from the Lord. I love you guys. Take care.